and gentlemen, I see some of you guys are at your seats. If you get a chance, there is a meal card that you have. There is a meal card. Please place that meal card in front, right there on the table, because that way they know which meal that you're going to be receiving. So there is a meal card that you have. It might be red. Oh, that's what I'm talking about, right there. You see, Put that meal card placed right in front of you, not to the left, not to the right, but right in front of you, so it's really easy for them to come by and drop your food. All right, I'm gonna get this whole microphone thing figured out in a second, but I apologize. So again, your meal's gonna be coming momentarily. All right. There's a 2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. We're going to get ready to get started. So you have the 2-minute warning. We are about to get started with the event. I'm telling you, I'm going to be walking up on stage in about 2 minutes. Test. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you could turn to the person to your left and tell them, shh. If you could turn to the person to your right and you could tell them, shh. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can get you guys to please stand. If you're able, please stand. If you can. Please stand. There we go. Thank you guys so much. You guys can take your seats now. For sure. It's the only way I can get your attention. I just want to make sure you guys are good. Right? We're good, right? Good morning, everybody. I take that back. It just turned noon. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me introduce myself. I think that's on my script, but I don't really pay attention to the script. My name is G. Scott with Cairo News Radio, the G and Ursula Show, and I am so honored to be here today for this amazing event. So I want to say thank you for being here. But before I do, when I say thank you for being here, what I don't want is the golf claps, okay? Right? Like, we go to these events. You guys look great. You look fantastic. But sometimes these events are just missing something, right? Everybody's just so wound up. So it's just like you want to clap, but you're not sure. You don't want to be too excited. You're not sure. So I'm going to say thank you for being here, and you're going to clap. Thank you for being here. I want to say thank you guys for being here, both in person and also those virtually. Hello, good to see you guys. Hello, wave to the cameras, everybody. Just want to say hi to them. Thank you guys for being here as well. First, before we get started, I want to give a land acknowledgement, and I want to do that first. I want to start our time together acknowledging that today and every day, we recognize that we work and live on the traditional land of the Coast Salish people, which includes the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, past and present. We honor with gratitude the land and the tribe. We also acknowledge that our Pierce County office sits on the traditional land of the Puyallup tribes, and we honor with gratitude both the land and the tribes. Throughout American history and child welfare history, Native American tribes, families have been torn apart. Today, indigenous children are 3 times more likely to enter foster care. This summer, the U.S. Supreme Court will rule on a case challenging the constitutionality of the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978, a law that was created to protect the rights of Native American children and preserve the cultural heritage. On the screen are several resources about the impact of the child welfare system that has on the indigenous communities. We urge you to learn more. Again, thank you guys for being here. Before we get going, make sure you silence your cell phones. We do that as well. We're here today, united in community for a common purpose. And I don't want to go too fast on that because fortunately or unfortunately, every single day, my job is to talk about news. And we all know how the news is going. But sometimes when I'm talking about news, when I'm talking about things in other cities, in other states, in other towns, when it's labeled cities, states, and towns, there possibly might be some negativity that might come with that news. But in the aftermath, when there's people that come together, that's when the word community is brought up. So community is what we have here right now. And this community is here for a purpose. And that purpose is to be done with intention. And that purpose is to improve the children and the families that are experiencing in the child welfare system. Now understand that today, right now, you sitting here today, this is our collective why. We believe that things should, can be better for families that are currently in the system. My father would always say, if better is possible, then good is never enough. At the top of today, on the screens, you see, thrive, together we thrive. So when you go away, and there's gonna be a lot of people talking, you're gonna be meeting different people, together we thrive. I just want you to think about this for a second when you go home today, or wherever you get ready to leave when you leave here today. Doesn't everyone deserve an equal opportunity to thrive? Can we all agree on that? So during the social hour, you all wrote down some wishes for what you hope for kids in foster care. And I have the opportunity to read some of those, so I want to share if you guys don't mind. Well, food's coming, so it's not like you're leaving. Here's one. Safety and fun. Simple, right? A good life that they're making. Unconditional love. Many people who love them. I really appreciate those ask right there because it just lets you know that the reason why you guys are here, the reason why Amara is here is to help better the system that these families and children are in right now, right? And that's why your appearance, you at home or in your office, that's why you being here is so important. Events like today's are the only possible because of that word community that I talked about, of people that rally around a mission and are here for a purpose because you made the decision to be intentional, to help and want to make a difference. That's what you're here for. So, if you don't mind, I have a few thank yous to those that have made today possible. I want to give a special thanks to today's presenting sponsors, the Lynn and Bruce Gibson Family Foundation and to Intracore Foundation. We're also pleased to thank the following companies and organizations for their support for today's events: Multicare Mary Bridge Children's Hospital, Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, Wilson Sonsony Goodrich and Rossetti Foundation, Alaska Airlines, Pyramid Communications, Model Remodel, GISA Credit Union, Heritage Bank, Boone Properties, Arsene Construction, Hardcastle AV, Executive Eye, and Ridge Mobile. Give it up for them as well. Together, these organizations made it possible, and they will make sure that all funds raised today go directly towards Amara's incredible programs. Now, we'd also like to extend our gratitude for the families listed here on the screen for their generous gifts toward Amara's Challenge Match Pool. Now, together, these folks have raised $110,000 to double all gifts of $300 or more and tripling all gifts of $1,000 or more. I must be excited about this organization because y'all see me up here sweating. Feel like I give a pastor a word or something. Lastly, I want to take a moment to thank the people who are a part of Amara's mission day in and day out. So, I'll ask you to stand if you're able so that we can recognize the collective strength that's inside of this tent. So, to all the parents and caregivers, thank you for caring for kids and trusting Amara as your partner. If you are a parent or a family with Amara, please stand up. To all volunteers, thank you for lending extra hands and hearts to this mission. If you are a volunteer, please stand. To our board members and ambassador board members, thank you for your relentless dedication. If you are here, please stand. To today's vendors, thank you guys so much for helping for this joy-filled afternoon, us coming together. And finally, to Amara staff members, thank you for the work that you do every single day to support these kids and families. Please stand and let's give all of these folks a round of applause. All right. Now, it is my honor to introduce the first speaker to the stage. And who better than the CEO, Scarlett Audubon Green, Amara's CEO. Scarlett has been with Amara for nearly 2 years after serving as an Amara foster family for 3 years prior. Please join me in welcoming Scarlett right now to the stage.
Thank you, G. I didn't know we were going to be jumping on and off the stage, so I don't know if I can manage that in these heels. Thank you all for joining us. If you were here last year, you know I am ever so grateful, and our staff is ever so grateful for today's weather. No thunder, tornadoes, etc. predicted in the forecast. I am honored to be here with you as the CEO of a 102-year-old organization that has been dedicated for that entire time in supporting children and families. I am delighted to start my time with you today by recognizing the incredible legacy and leadership of the people who are and have made profound impact in the lives of children who are experiencing child welfare. So our first item is our Walt Zabriskie Award. In 2019, we rededicated this award, formerly known as the Shining a Light Award, to honor the memory of Walt, who served children and families through Amara in so many ways. Walt spent countless hours volunteering with us. He was a board treasurer. He was a staff CFO. He was also a supporter, networker, and community builder for the work that we do. Today's honoree is someone who has helped inspire countless others to join the movement to transform the child welfare system. She has worked tirelessly to focus on improving family well-being as the focus of child welfare. We are so excited to honor Shraunda Silivanoff as our 2023 Walt Zabriskie Award honoree. Now, for those of you who know Shraunda, she is incredible. She's been an incredible force of positive change in our state, both in our state and across the country. She has channeled her lived experience to support parents and children in really meaningful ways for over a decade. In addition to her current work as the manager of as a manager in the Office of Public Defense, Shraunda also recently served as the Director of Public Policy for the Children's Home Society of Washington. She has helped many parents and children navigate the child welfare system through the Parent for Parents program at King County Superior Court. She's also worked on the Washington State Parent Ally Committee, the Partnership for Families work, and as a social worker. She's also held many other roles. It'd be too hard to name all of them. She has served on several committees and coalitions advocating for improving the ways children and families are served by the child welfare system. And she has worked on preventing the need for the system to be involved in the first place. I would also be remiss if I didn't mention that Shraunda's done this incredible work while also being a kinship caregiver to her grandson. Shraunda couldn't be here today. She is, in fact, doing the good work at a conference out of state as part of her ongoing efforts to transform child welfare. So Amy Jacobson is going to accept her award. She is an outstanding Amara foster caregiver who knows Shraunda well. And so I'll give Amy a moment to get up here. So please join me one more time in recognizing Shraunda and thanking her for her incredible contribution. So thank you so much. We decided to start our program by sharing our gratitude and honoring those who are working tirelessly to change child welfare. Because today really is about inspiring change and inspiring you all to make a difference in the lives of kids who have faced just incredible, challenging circumstances. The experiences of children in the child welfare system are incredibly tough, particularly for someone who has lived usually a very short number of years. So many of you here today have been part of this organization's journey for many years, even decades. You've heard stories and you've met caregivers whose love for kids means they will go to the end of the earth to make a child feel safe and loved for even just one more night. You've been here as Amara has innovated to do more and better for kids and families. Thank you for being part of that journey. If you're meeting Amara for the first time today, welcome. You are joining an incredible community of people who will try to do whatever it takes to improve the well-being of children and families experiencing foster care. This community shares the enduring belief that people can and do thrive when they have networks of support. Working in child welfare can be incredibly challenging and overwhelming. How do you address what feels like an absolute endless number of families in crisis or on the verge of crisis, while also trying to prevent families from reaching that point? How can you ensure that every child will experience safety and stability at home? What do we do when we have an overall shortage of resources, housing, behavioral health providers, healing-centered schools, and other child-safe spaces? In that overwhelm, it can be incredibly tempting to choose to not pay attention to what is happening to families outside of your own. But we simply cannot do that. When kids come into foster care, it can begin a series of experiences that are so deeply traumatic. Kids in our state move an average of 2 to 3 times a year when they are in foster care. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the potential of adapting 2 to 3 times a year to a new school, a new home, a new set of siblings, a new community, perhaps a new religion, a new pet, a new set of routines and rules? These experiences quickly become fundamentally different for children who experience foster care than for their peers. And then those children grow up. Even if children that have experienced foster care are successfully reunited with their parents or are adopted into a loving home, the scars from the instability of the experience of foster care itself are still there. If these scars are left untreated, the trauma can follow a child well into adulthood. What we know today is that adults who experience foster care as kids are far less likely to have completed their educational journeys, far more likely to experience poverty, homelessness, unemployment, and the criminal legal system. They are more likely to struggle with mental health. They are more likely to become entangled in other systems as well, and have a greater likelihood of becoming victims of crimes in the future. But this is not the future we envision for our children, for the children in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our playgrounds, nor is it the future that they deserve. So Amara, our job is to not be overwhelmed. We know that foster care is, first of all, preventable. And we know that even when children come into contact with foster care, these outcomes are not inevitable. We know that when we wrap around a child and a family with supportive programs, that family unit and that child can heal. So here is what we do. For so much of our history, Amara has focused on supporting families as they parent children in foster care. Our foster caregivers are incredible. They do what sometimes seems absolutely impossible. They love children as their own, all the while supporting their return home. And if returning home isn't possible, they become amazing and open adoptive families forever. As the system has changed and as the needs of kids have evolved, so too must and has our response. There's an infinite combination of factors that can lead a family to end up entangled in the foster care system. We believe in meeting families exactly where they are But to do this well, we need to add tools to our tool belt. We needed to be able to offer supports that were tailored to the unique needs of everyone in the family constellation, kids included. So today, in addition to our work with foster families, as they provide safe and loving homes to children in the foster care system, we also do the following work. We provide resources for families in crisis before the breaking point, so that things like poverty and daily struggles don't lead to children's removals. We provide peer support for parents as they navigate the system so that they can stabilize and safely parent their children. We support kinship caregivers so that when possible, kids entering foster care can stay with family in their communities in a unit of household that they recognize. We also provide programming for youth themselves so that kids know they aren't alone in their experiences, so that they can own their stories and so that they can heal. And finally, we focus relentlessly on changing policies and practice so that we can keep families whole and communities strong. The path to a child welfare system involvement that improves child and family well-being for every kid and every family is long and complex. Moving a system away from traumatic to healing is challenging, but it is possible, and it is happening. We'll continue to take our work together in whatever we know and the ways that we learn how from people with lived experiences who can inform how we may best do that work. Thank you for being part of this work. As we see a future that keeps families together, rebuilds families that have been torn apart, and grows what it means to be a family, know that you have our deepest gratitude for your help in this mission. So now I'd like to share a video that highlights a little bit more of our work and some other voices from Amara. Thank you.
I think it's important for folks to know that every kid entering foster care has some level of trauma.
Seeing kids actually coming into our house and just having that moment of sort of shell shock in some cases, not even knowing where to put their shoes, what to do with their backpack, and really seeing the sadness in a child. And it always has stricken me as incredibly hard what we expect from kids in a way that we ourselves wouldn't be able to manage.
There's a lot that has happened in their lives. For a lot of our kiddos in their very short lives have had a ton of transition, a lot of trauma, a lot of hurt and instability, and that shows up really big at times in little people.
That kind of separation and dismantling of a family is just very, very difficult. But there are a lot of ways to kind of help families be supported and to heal from those experiences.
The biggest thing that connects all of our programs is really a focus on defining family in the broadest sense possible, as all of the adults that love and care for a child rallying around supporting that child through one of that child's most difficult times in life. We at Amara recognize that there will always be a need for foster care. One of the things that Amara does really, really well is ensuring that we are supporting foster parents in understanding the needs of kids when they come into their home, understanding how to support that kiddo in stabilizing in that home so that that child can stay just in one place until they can go back home.
The work that we do at Amara with parents and caregivers has a lot of impact to the child's stability and safety in their home, as well as how these families can be supported so that when they're less stressed, they can really focus on what are the needs of their children. There's a lot of work in becoming a foster family, but there's also a lot of joy too, because they know that they are helping out these children and these families reunite when they are able to. And they're just another part of this huge interwoven fabric.
One of the big changes that Washington State is making is moving towards placing children in kinship families as frequently as possible. And kinship families are family taking care of their own family.
If we have to remove a kid, to me the best step is kinship care because they're staying within their families, their communities, their friends, their church, etc. They know where they're going. Grandma's house is a safe house. They have been there before. They know the dogs. They know grandma's cooking. A lot of that anxiety stuff is taken away because they are with familiar faces. A lot of the services currently for caregivers really are focused on foster parents, and foster parents have a very different experience than kinship caregivers. So we really need programs who help kinship caregivers get what they have missed through that kind of training, onboarding process that foster parents get. And so that's what we're trying to do with our programs. My dream is that we adequately support kinship families so that they can thrive, be amazing caregivers to these kids, and then let these kids do amazing things.
The child welfare system has started thinking about what can we do to prevent the trauma of family separation in the first place. Our programs have really sought to be at the forefront of that. We have a couple of programs that support parents before they hit a crisis or who have already been identified by the child welfare system as a household that may need resources. And we do so by really partnering parents who have successfully navigated the system, who have gotten their kids back to help other parents do the same.
So back in 2019, my daughter was born. I got paperwork in the mail saying, oh, you got a court date. You're being charged with child abandonment and neglect. She went home with the foster parents, and that's when my life fell apart. But then my life started again.
My child wasn't born until I was 40, and I didn't get clean until I was 43. When my daughter was removed from my care, one of the things that happened was I didn't get on board. I was angry. In July of 2008, I went to my social worker and I told my social worker, I said, look, I don't want to lose my child. I didn't have the mentorship while I was going through the case. And so I don't ever want another parent to go through not having some type of support in their corner.
I've had a wraparound team that helped me get through everything. So I get to share, my life experience and help another family. It's the involvement with families, mentoring them. I'm learning how to help change somebody else's life.
I wouldn't have any of this had not somebody believed in me. So I think that is what we have to offer parents.
I think Amara's done a really beautiful job of pivoting to really meet the needs and the shift the child welfare system has made.
I think the most important part of being a leader in child welfare is that you actually want to cease existing, that you don't drive programming or innovation or policy with the mindset that you would like to continue being an entity in the system, that you can really see a world where there is no need for child welfare to exist.
We are moving in a way that I think has to help us reframe what is child welfare, what is its purpose, and why do we do what we do? And I think that is a really important question to constantly be asking and really focusing on what is the goal, what is the mission, and that is to have strong families and strong communities.
We have been in the policy forefront of this work. We have been in the practice forefront of this work. And continuing to innovate in that space is huge.
Parent allies are being called to the table to do things along with judges, lawyers, social workers. We're sitting at the table today. And that is the best thing that could have ever happened.
But I like that we're not afraid to dream big, challenge ourselves, and really pivot to meet the needs of our changing society.
Amara has been here for 102 years, and I think for each of those 102 years, we have been daring and bold and really thinking about what is best for kids and what is best for families.
When I think about Amara, the word that comes to mind is amor in Spanish, which means love. Amara to me means love, love of children, love of families, love of community, and also think about the love everyone belongs.
absolutely love that last part about Amara and about love. And the reason why is because could you imagine? Could you imagine if everything that we did, every single day, we led with love? And do you realize maybe half our problems in our world would be alleviated if we all led with love? Now, it's tough. Sometimes day to day gets in the way, no doubt about it. But I think what you saw on that video is you saw acts of love, right? You saw acts of helping. And when people are helping genuinely, I would say the root and the foundation of that action is love. And so oftentimes we become better in life once we have confidence, and confidence usually comes from help, and help usually comes from love. And then once you get to that level, then you are in your opportunity as someone to come and give back and help as well. So I would like to introduce our next speaker. Is a kinship caregiver to 2 children and a member of Amara's Kinship Advisory Council, a former Amara foster care specialist, and is currently an education specialist at Treehouse, and is an all-around amazing person. So, please join me in welcoming Deshauna Brown.
Good afternoon. Thank you to Amara for letting me speak today on the experience of being a kinship caregiver, also known as a relative caregiver. In 2015, my journey began with the Department of Children, Youth, and Family Services. They had reached out to me to let me know that my youngest birth sister had had 2 children, and they were taking them into care. The case was in the very early stages. Dependency had not been filed yet, and they were currently living with their paternal grandparents. At the time, I knew that I wasn't quite in a position to be able to take them in, and so I had hoped that my sister and the twins' father would be able to meet the needs that were being asked of them and be able to have the children return to their care. Unfortunately, this did not happen. Because I wasn't a party to the case, or because I hadn't taken placement of the twins, I didn't receive any further communication from the department after the initial contact from them in 2015. Now flash forward to July of 2020. I was notified that my niece and nephew were still in care, and a relative was hoping to step in, and I was hoping to be able to be that support to that relative who was going to take permanent placement of the twins, because their current placement was not able to be a permanent one. Sorry. I had not seen my niece and nephew since they were infants. They were now 4.5 years old, and I had done 3 visits with my niece and nephew. The relative who had stepped up and contacted me was actually also no longer able to be a placement. And before I knew it, the department was looking to me. I was living in a 1-bedroom house here in Seattle, Washington. I was working 2 jobs. I'm also a working actress, and so I perform in the greater area of here in Seattle and also in Tacoma. And I had just gotten accepted to UW's paralegal program, and I was making plans for my life. And so then I made the decision that I was going to take this on. I became an instant parent to 2 twins that were 4.5 years old that didn't know me. Yes, I was a relative caregiver. And yes, we think at times because you're family, you have that communication and you are in touch. But I myself am a foster child and adopted. And so I was not raised with the children's mother. And so I didn't have that communication. I didn't have that tie to them, and they didn't really have that tie to me. Although we had met a few times, the connection was very brief. As I mentioned, we did 3 visits together before the department placed them with me. I had asked for a gradual transition. I had hoped for overnights, and I had hoped that it would maybe go on longer than a month. It literally went from July 9th until August 10th. We lived in my apartment here in Seattle, and then we made the big transition to move back up to Bellingham, Washington, where I grew up with my parents. This was a huge change. I had not lived in Bellingham for 15.5 years, And to be honest, I never thought I would live in Bellingham again. And so I was up there living in an area I hadn't been, and also this was in the midst, as you guys know, of the COVID lockdown. Services were not readily available. Services that previously would have been occurring in person were not able to occur in person because we were in lockdown. And it was quite a way to start an instant family. The journey has taken many turns. And I will say that I am very blessed to have the family support and the friend support that I've been able to have to take on this change. Because as we all know, it can be a very hard road. And as someone who did not previously have children, it was quite the learning curve to change everything and relocate. I was fortunate at the time when I moved to be able to keep the jobs that I had. But since moving, I will tell you, I now have 4 jobs so that I can raise my family and so that we can do and thrive and be able to go on daily adventures. Yes, I know they had mentioned that I work for Treehouse, and I do, and this is an amazing job, and it's a full-time job that I have, but I also have 3 other additional jobs and the 5th job of parenting. My family has been a great support to me, and my friends have been a great support. And due to that support, I was able to go to UW, and I was able to get my paralegal certificate. Thank you. And one of those jobs has allowed me to put that paralegal certificate to use. And it's been amazing to see that happen. And also to see my niece and nephew thriving with me. As things opened up, we would travel back and forth down here to Seattle and also to the Tacoma area so that they could do visits with their father and also extended family. As I also have family down here on their mother's side. And so we would do visits with our aunts and uncles. And it has been a great experience and something that I'm very blessed to see for them. For myself growing up, I knew my birth mother's side of the family. And so I was very fortunate for that. In August of 2020, I was actually introduced to my birth father's side of the family. I had not met my birth father yet, and I still haven't, but I've been able to meet 3 of my sisters and also other aunts and uncles on that side of the family, which has been an amazing experience and something that I genuinely cherish for my children, and that they do get to know both sides of their family while growing up. Another piece of the puzzle and something that I had spoken to was the assumption of relative caregivers and that family contact that we have. My family is that unique family that does show that sometimes that contact is not there. And I didn't get to hear all the stories that my sister had of her children when they were babies. And to some extent, I also don't have some of those pictures. I've looked for pictures of my niece and nephew so that I can hold on to them for them. And I've been able to get some. But that story and those beginning stories, I don't quite have yet. And it's something also for myself, having gone through foster care and being adopted, that I know of. I know of the significant power that having the family bond of knowing your birth family can carry, as it has been a tremendous help and love of mine to be able to know my family and to be able to see them and speak with them on a daily basis. I have frequent conversations with my kids about extended family and about their parents. And I'm so glad that they are able to see their aunts and uncles and play with their cousins. I try and nurture this curiosity for them. As a child growing up in the system, it can leave you with many questions of wondering. Recently, my daughter had asked me the question of, is our mother dead? I told her no. She asked that question because she thought that that's why they weren't living with her. When that question comes to you, it hits you hard. And you do kind of wonder, what can you say that can help make that easier? Right now, the children do not have contact with their mother, but I do hope someday they will. And I always encourage them to ask questions and tell them whatever stories I can about their parents when they're not able to see them all the time. Although I have a lot of firsthand knowledge in the area of adoption and foster care, I still learn new things every day, as this experience is different for everyone and every adoptee. You will hit you at different stages, the grief, the sadness, the love, the thankfulness, and it's a journey that I am also still navigating today. The comment that it takes a village to raise a child or a community to raise a child, that is very true, and I was fortunate to have that and still have that. Although at times, I'm sure it was hard for the adults in my family to have those relationships, I didn't see that. I was fortunate to see my adoptive parents and my birth family always getting along. And I do my best to make sure that my children are always seeing that too. Amara is that village and community for families. Amara is doing amazing work, leading a pathway for programs that can provide a safe space for these connections that I'd mentioned, for families to be able to come together and speak openly, and also address at times what can be the challenges of bringing that bond and bringing that connection together. For some, going the route of being a licensed caregiver is the right route for you. For myself, I didn't choose that route, and it was fine. I'm fortunate to be a part of the Kinship Advisory Council here at Amara, and to be able to speak to changes that I would recommend in order to help other families who go through this process. It's also been a very grateful process to be able to speak with people who are making these changes in real time, versus having it be something that I said and then wait for maybe months or even years to see a change happen. But I've been able to actively participate in writing up documents and reviewing documents that are written and seeing the actual work of that being done. The programs that Amara is designing and implementing, as I mentioned, have been really great. And I think had those programs been around when I was going through this process as a relative caregiver, it would have been a great resource to help me navigate and know further around the resources that were available to me as a kinship and relative caregiver, as they are different from those who are foster parents. There are little changes and little nuances to the different resources and services that we can receive. I also think, as I mentioned, a resource that can provide families with that space to have those connections and conversations is great. And the work that Amara is doing is just that. It's wonderful to know that other families will be able to benefit from these programs here at Amara. Thank you.
Absolutely incredible. Give it up for Deshauna one more time. My goodness. You got 4 jobs. Are you sure you don't go around speaking and doing this for a living? Because you are amazing. All right. That was good stuff. Loved hearing from Deshauna. Right now, I'd like to introduce someone else to come on stage as well. She is a middle school teacher and a foster caregiver navigating foster parenting as a single person. Tessa has fostered 9 children, all but one of whom have reunited with family. She, too, is an all-around amazing person. Please give it up for Tessa Garros.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for letting me share my foster parenting journey today. I know there's others here who have amazing stories, so I feel honored to be amongst kindred spirits in the day-to-day work of foster parenting and those who support us on the way. Only foster parents can really understand the day one of a new foster parenting journey, so before I share my story, I want to give you a little picture into that wild ride. First, we get an email from Jenny, the Amara Child Placement Coordinator. We love her. She sends us the child's name, some of their needs. Usually the information's kind of sparse. Sometimes it's wrong, not Jenny's fault. Once they told me this kid loved pizza and he was 8 months old, and that seemed weird, and he was 18 months old. So, you know, you never know. Jenny's incredible at talking with foster parents, and she really understands our strengths and areas where a challenge might be a little too much. She sends us placements she thinks will be a good fit for us and often communicates with the social worker if we have questions. Then I frantically call daycares to see if I can find an open spot and one that accepts payment for kids in care. If I find somewhere, that's the go-ahead. And I wait to hear if I was chosen as a placement for these new friends, who I know will become part of my heart forever and my family, even if for a short time. If I'm chosen, then the race begins to prepare, finding a toothbrush, digging through your boxes of clothes for the right size, getting the bedroom ready. Sometimes I have a few days, sometimes I just have a few hours to go and pick up a kid from a social worker's cubicle. The social worker arrives, and then it's all me. It's overwhelming and scary and hard, all wrapped in one little package. I have to hold 2 truths, One, that I'm very happy to have this new little beautiful child to love, and that the reason they're with me is because they've experienced trauma. The first night is always the worst. I want to soothe them when they're scared and sad, but I don't know their story. Did they sleep alone? Do they have a stuffed animal? Did their mom rock them to sleep? Did they sleep in a bed? It's a lot of trial and error and a lot of sleepless nights. We're doing that again right now. Slowly we make it through, and in the blink of an eye, it feels like they've always been with me. But the challenges continue, just like with any parenting, but the unknowns are so much greater with foster parenting. Only foster parents have both the joys of allowing kids to experience new things for the first time, seeing the light come back into their eyes, as well as the lows of consoling a child after a missed visit, holding a child while they cry for their family, and not having answers about the future. My foster parenting journey began with a 7-year-old girl. I'll never forget the overwhelming sense of responsibility I felt when she was dropped off, and I realized, I admit I'm the one who has to make her feel safe and protected, and in that moment, I really didn't. I cried behind closed doors, and I leaned on my family to help me get my footing, and I did, and so did she. The first sweet girl had some pretty significant mental health challenges that became bigger than she and I could handle. I was so thankful for my Amara social workers, like Monica, who's here, thank you, Monica, who came to meetings, helped me navigate supports, talked through meeting with some challenging family members, and answered my frantic calls to the after hours line. 6 months after she walked in the door, her social worker picked her up to live at a behavioral and mental health facility until she was safe and healthy. I'll never forget watching her drive away with the social worker and feeling a huge sense of loss and like a failure. Sorry, I'm very tired. We're doing crib training and it's not going great. Thankfully, I'm not sad, I'm just tired. Thankfully, my Amara social worker was there as someone to connect with about the process. I was able to remain in this kiddo's life throughout her time there. She came over for holidays, we had a visit every weekend, and I was able to see the joy and control really come back into her life. She moved in with another family, but keeping in touch and seeing how amazing she's doing is a huge gift. Even when I feel like a failure or like kids won't remember me when they're older, I try to remember that I hopefully help set the foundation for their future self to lead a happy and healthy life. My next longer placement was a set of siblings who came from a disrupted placement. They were 2 and 3, exactly 1 year apart, and it was a wild introduction to having siblings. You might understand what having 2 kids is like, but you probably don't understand getting them both at once. Well, you know. They had lots of different strengths and needs. Thank you. That's my child over there yelling. We had therapies, always changing visitation, behavior challenges, some developmental delays, but it's amazing how kids can grow. Watching them blossom into wild little people over the next 3 years was such a gift. Seeing them reunify with their parents was difficult because I felt like a part of me was leaving, but the joy on all their faces is something I can clearly picture today. Seeing how the whole family is thriving and growing and happy now is such a testament to the power of foster parenting, our support systems, including Amara, and the relationships that we can build with families. The most recent long-term placement I had was a sweet little ray of sunshine who came to me at the beginning of COVID, and she was a really bright light in the blank screens of online teaching, so I appreciated her. This little girl was 2, and she was coming from 2 disrupted kinship placements. The addition of this kiddo on top of their own was too much for them to take on without supports. You can imagine this kiddo was confused and very quiet. She didn't talk, she didn't know what to do with toys, she didn't have much light in her eyes. It was incredible to see her grow through therapies, beginning visits with her mom, having friends and daycare, and getting into the world when things started to open up. She showed how creative, kind, and funny she was. Because of COVID, I was involved in Zoom visits between she and her mom, and later her dad, for a pretty lengthy period of time. While this had its own challenges, it also allowed her mom and I to create a relationship built on mutual love for her little girl and to start to work as a team. Foster parenting is a bit like co-parenting, and it's hard when you don't have communication or a relationship with your co-parent. That's why I work really hard to create that. Because of this, when this child and her mom were heading towards reunification, she came over in the weeks leading up to it to play and put her to bed, and we spent a lot of time as a little trio. After reunification, I was able to continue to be a support for both of them through some challenges and ended up being the emergency contact who was called to take this little girl back on a hard day. Without maintaining our relationship, when she needed to come back into care, she might not have returned to me right away, if at all. This made her next few weeks when she needed to go back into care much less traumatic. I was so thankful again to the Amara After Hours line when I wasn't sure what to do after that initial emergency call. Christina, love her too, was so helpful in talking me through the situation and helping me create a plan. The next few weeks leading up to a move across the country for this kiddo were very challenging, and having my social worker, Mari, not only there to support me, but also advocate for this child was really helpful. Mari attended challenging meetings with me during this time and was always supportive, checking in with me after talking through things. Sometimes just having her there to vent to is the most helpful. I feel thankful to have been able to have contact with this now almost 5-year-old girl in her new home and with her mom, who I remain in contact with. With all the moments of challenges, finding therapies, communicating and building relationships with families, navigating continuously changing court dates and visitation and meetings, plans and emergencies and big emotions, to the moments of joy as we watch kids and families grow and thrive, I've appreciated the support and resources Amara has provided. While I love being a foster parent, Amara's work to support kinship placement will hopefully lessen the number of children who have to come into the care of a home like mine. But as long as there are children in care, I'll continue to open my home, as I know many here will as well. It began as a way to help others and be a mother, and has become something now I can't imagine not doing. It's incredibly hard in every way possible, but I feel like if I can manage that, it's my calling to help these kids. They deserve to feel safe and nurtured and set up to thrive. I love being able to support kids in their most difficult times and to help families know their child is safe while they get the help that they need. I love the first time a kid will go swimming, jumps on a trampoline, learns to talk, and flies on an airplane. Those little smiles are worth all the heartache. Seeing a child who has come from trauma grow and thrive and just be a kid is what keeps me welcoming these kids into my home. My wish for children in foster care is that they continue to have a relationship with their biological families that can grow in a healthy way, that they can remain in one foster placement without the added trauma of moving, that they come into care and feel welcomed, loved, and supported. While they have experienced trauma and challenges that we can't undo, I hope we give them a strong foundation of love from which to build the rest of their lives, no matter where they go. As foster parents, Amara, our support systems, the support systems of kids in care, and supporters like you, continue to love these kids who need the most care and support families to help them be the best for their kids. We know it truly takes a team of people with big hearts. And aren't we lucky that we have the capacity to be those people? I hope that you'll continue to make sure they have the support they need. These kids are a huge gift to us, and hopefully we are to them as well. Thank you.
Tessa and Deshauna, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us and all the reminders that love and family can take so many different forms. Like you and our other speakers, I know firsthand the impact that Amara can have. I'm Caitlin Herron. I'm a member of Amara's board, and my wife and I started our relationship with Amara about 10 years ago. We were prospective foster parents with very little practical sense of what that actually meant, and no roots in this community. But Amara took our good intentions and elevated our awareness of what it means to care for children and families who are affected by the child welfare system. Amara instilled in us a reverence for kinship networks and a commitment to openness, and then armed us with the resources necessary to provide compassionate, trauma-informed care. In 2017, we accepted our first placement. And when I wrote that, I was surprised if did you react to the word first? Okay. Our first placement of 3 siblings, half-sisters, aged 8, 6, and 2, and their expanded network of aunts, grandmothers, mothers, in turn, adopted us. When the little one went home to reunify and live with her mom, we slid into a new configuration of forever family with her and her mama, who we adore. And with the love and support of their first family, we adopted the older two kids in 2019. And so when I was asked recently why I give to Amara, I answered authentically that Amara has changed my life and my mindset more profoundly than any other organization on the planet. And as you heard today, our story is just one of many, many examples of Amara's truly incredible impact on children and families in our community. So it's my honor to be here today to follow these incredible examples and stories and to ask you to join me in supporting Amara to continue their work. As a member of Amara's board of directors, but also as a parent whose children endured an incredibly hard start in life and whose lives were changed by Amara's service, I'm asking you to join me today in giving a gift. So, as G mentioned, because of the generosity of some amazing donors, we have a match pool of $110,000 to giving you the opportunity to expand your gift today. You can double or even triple your gift. Do we have the information on the screen? Terrific. Today, gifts of $300 or more will be doubled. Gifts of $1,000 or more will be tripled. So it's truly an incredible opportunity to magnify your impact today. And I'm guessing that many of you, probably most of you, came to the luncheon today with an amount in mind. But if you can, I want to ask you to stretch your gift, to maximize your impact through this matching pool. The state will never come close to providing the funds necessary to instill hope and healing in the lives of children and families impacted by the foster care system. So we need organizations like Amara to help fill those gaps. And Amara needs people like us to come together and support their work and give generously. So table hosts, if you haven't already, I see some activity, that's great. Please pass out your envelopes. For those of you following us online, please click the link in the chat or go to amarafamily.org/donate to give your gift. I wanted to say one more thing about gifts, larger gifts. The match works even for gifts that are broken out into multiple monthly payments, which is really incredible if you want to give more than you have available today. So thank you all personally, deeply for being here today. Thank you in advance for your support. And most importantly, thank you so much for being a force for good. So let's do all that we can for children and families today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caitlin. As you guys are grabbing those envelopes there and getting ready to fill that out, I love what Caitlin had to say when she said, you might have had a number in mind, right, that you thought about that you were going to give. And then sometimes you just want to push a little bit. And it kind of reminds me when I go to the gym. When I do. But when I go to the gym, do you guys know what I'm talking about? You ever sometimes have that workout and it says you're supposed to do like 6 to 8 reps or you're supposed to do 10 to 12 reps? Which one are you? Are you the one that stops at 10 or do you go to 12? I ain't trying to get your business, but I'm just asking. But as you decide to give today, I want you to think about being in the gym. Are you going to stop at 10 reps or are you going to go all the way to 12? All right. Now it's time for those raffles right there. If someone is going to be the winner of round-trip tickets for Alaska Airlines. Yes. Is it 2 tickets? 2 tickets round trip. And so who better to come up here and get this going, get this started and pull, because I don't want to do it. Let's bring up the CEO, Scarlett. Come on up.
I will take bribes, so no. I actually wasn't even aware I was doing this part. So, Ruth, I just call out the number. Is that? Yeah. Excellent. I can do that. All right. Dig deep. Dig deep. Got it. All right. Okay, number 211140. 211140. Yeah? Nice.
Of course.
Woo!
Of course.
Of course.
The good Dr. Danielson. Isn't that something? Well, I don't know if you guys recognize that guy, but of course the good Dr. Ben Danielson will go ahead and win something like that for all of the amazing work he does in the community. All right. The one thing I will say about this event, it says starts this time and it ends this time. And I got to tell you, we're at 102, so I'm sure some of you guys are like, wrap this up, G. Wrap this up. I just want to say thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for allowing me the honor and the privilege to be up here and talk to you. And before I go, I just want to say thank you. And let me dig a little deeper and tell you where that thank you comes from. You see, most of you giving today and most of you being here, you probably won't physically see or feel or meet the impact that your dollar is going to make. You might not actually meet that family, but your dollar will. Well, years ago, guess what? Some of the same folks that helped me and my family, I never got a chance to meet them. But I get an opportunity today to say thank you to you for what people like you did for me and my family years ago. One of the things that I heard on that video, it talked about grandmama's cooking. And I got to tell you, sometimes when you're coming up, even if you ain't rich, grandmama's cooking made you feel that way. And so I don't know if today was everything that you wanted it to be, but it was everything that was needed today. And when you walk away today, understand that you are truly making an impact. So let's keep the spirit together alive as we go our separate ways, but we continue to be united in the belief to make things happen, make things better for these kids and families in this child welfare system. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored. Thank you. My name is G. Scott. Blessings. Good afternoon.